Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Peppermint mocha. I love peppermint mocha. Okay, so I figured it's been a minute since I've done a reintroducing so I did one video where I very brief introduced myself. That was a while ago. So for all the new people who've, come to my channel, been watching my videos, I appreciate you. So I thought I'd do a reintroduction video so you all can find out a little bit more about moi. So I go by Wonder on here. So I made a little list of stuff that I wanted, just points that I wanted to touch on. So I am a single, I'll be 33 in April. Single 33-year-old living in an apartment by myself with my two poopers, my two puppies, my boobalas, Otis and Fargus. They're over there sleeping on some beds right now. It's just me and them as of right now. It's an ice storm here where I live. Couldn't really go out earlier because we slipped on some ice. Couldn't really walk. But, so yeah, I have two dogs, Otis and Fargus. I own a little small business with my friend called Bound Brewed. If you want to check out Bound Brewed, it is on Facebook. I will leave a link below. Let's see. I have one brother, one sister. My brother I'm very close to. He wouldn't say that we are, but that's just how he is. So let's see. I am a hereditary witch, even though my family would probably not say that they were witches. They leaned more to the, if you've ever heard of granny magic, which is Appalachia mountain range-ish kind of magic. It is very God, Christ based, where they do recognize, that they have gifts and they have, these abilities, but they are very much, a gift from God. And they use them, for God, what have you. My mom had prophetic dreams. My mama had prophetic dreams. So I was always growing up, I was always around, superstitions and, things like that. And Mama would always talk about her dreams and, when she would dream about certain things, stuff like that. So I was always kind of around it. And then as I got older, I started getting into it more, even though I leaned more towards I don't believe in the Christian God. I don't believe in the Christianity. I don't believe in the Bible. Not to say that I do believe that Jesus was an actual person. I do believe that because there have been, throughout, Earth's whole, there have been prophets and high spiritual people throughout our whole time. So I do believe that Jesus was an actual person, but I do not believe that the Bible is an accurate account of what his life was, because things were changed when it was translated from Greek to, English. Words were mistranslated, and I don't believe in the Bible as it is. Also, Jesus was not a blue-eyed, blonde-haired white man. He lived in the Middle East. He was not blue-eyed and blonde-haired. But, so when I started following my path, I was on the path where, I didn't really believe in God, but I think so I've done a video before this where I talk about going from Christianity to paganism. And I talk about how I had this momentary like bridge where I considered myself a Christio-pagan, where I still believed in Jesus Christ and God, but I chose to worship him in a different way. And I taught, and I'm pretty sure I talk about how I did that because it was a much more comfortable bridge for me and for my mom, especially because when I talked to her about it, it made the conversation a lot easier when I said, because she asked me flat out if I still believed in God and Jesus, and I said yes. It was just easier, even though at that moment, looking back, I didn't believe in God, but it was just an easier transition, and I will link that video below as well. Ooh, camera's shaking. Let me just make a note to link that below. And then, so over the years, I have come to, so it takes people a while to learn what witch they are, Some people, it takes them years and years and years, and then they go down these, twisted paths, and they start at one point and they end up in probably somewhere they didn't expect to be in, right? Well, my path has been twisted and turned and, what have you, but I have ended up where I'm most comfortable saying that I am a green witch. And a green witch is just, I love nature, I love animals, I love being outside, I love working with herbs, and I have a bunch of house plants. There's some over here. I just love, and I love crystals and stones, and so I love being like this nurturing nature green witch. I've also been a tarot reader for about 15-20 years. My oldest deck is actually, so this deck I actually got when I was about like 12-ish. My sister actually bought it at Barnes & Noble. And she got it, used it for a little bit, and then she just like put it away and didn't really use it anymore. And so she gave it to me, and I've had it ever since. I call it my OG. She goes everywhere with me. It is and I even still have the little book, little white book it came with. I don't know how this little white book survived, but but yeah, I still have the little white book with all the sayings and stuff in it. It is the medieval Scapini deck. I'll just show you a few of the cards. This is the back. So like this is the world. But yeah, I take this deck with me usually every time I go to read for clients or anything like that. I take this deck with me, and then like I've also talked about in other videos, when I read for clients, I take like the multiple decks. But this is the full. So this deck does have like special meaning to me. Death. It's my OG. She can riffle shuffle. Chef's kiss. I have a TikTok now. I broke down, downloaded the app. I have a TikTok. It is wonderxviii. On TikTok, you can go on there, follow me. I actually have a video of me doing like a riffle shuffle with OG here. But yeah, I have been reading tarot for 15-20 years. I say 15 to 20 because when I first got the deck, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just really liked it. Felt an instant connection. but I didn't really start like reading until a few years later. Right back. Until like a few years later, and then I started to like, I would pull cards for like situations or things like that. And as you can see, I have a lot more decks. Those aren't all of them. I have them, they're scattered throughout. There's some on my desk over here. There's some in my living room. So, but yeah, tarot is like one of my main things I do. I am an empath. And I do believe that my empathy helps me when I am reading for clients. It helps me to connect. It helps me to get to the issue or the feelings that maybe someone doesn't really want to talk about. It's easier for me to get in there, right? Also, I know I say this every time. This is my favorite mug. Look, it's like a little smiley face. Boop, boop. This is my mom's favorite mug too. But yeah, I have empathy, tarot reading, Green Witch. So I do practice with a few other ladies. I know I've talked about them. It's my 4 closest friends that I have, even though I don't think I've talked about it on here, but one of them, we had a falling out. She did with the whole group, so we no longer are friends with her. And so for a little bit there, she left and it was only me and then the 3 other girls. But then my brother, his girlfriend, came into the picture, and so now she's a really close friend. And so now it's back to 4 other ladies. We actually recently just had a witch night where we wrote on our skull here. I don't think have I ever talked about this skull on here? I don't know, but this is our skull. And every year, we've been doing this since 2017. We put the date, it may be backwards, but so we put the date on the bottom of when we started, and every year one witch night, we usually try to do it on Halloween. Couldn't do it this past year on Halloween, because like the COVID and all that stuff. So, but we try to get together one witch night, and then we each pick one big moment or big event that happened in the year, and we write it on here. So the first year, I wrote the moon, because that was, in 2017, that's when I redid my signifier card, and I got a new signifier card that was the moon. So that was like a really big moment for me in 2017. In 2018, I wrote aromatherapy, because that's when I really started to get into aromatherapy and things like that, and started my schooling. Haven't finished it yet, but I'm getting there. Things like that, Oh, and then, of course, 2019 was my divorce. But yeah, so we each write on this bad boy, and then once it's filled, we will seal it, and it will be forever here. Then we'll get a new skull, and we'll start again. But that's one of our favorite things to do. We all really look forward to doing that every year. So let's see, what else can I talk about? Oh, so I do work with a Deity, the Morrigan. She is wonderful. I really like working with her. I did a little short video where I talked about working with her and how I talk to her and blah, 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 but things like that. But it's been a minute. But I write letters to her, and then I draw a tarot card from her deck, which this deck I only use for her. So this is her deck. Whoop. Marielle Tarot. I don't use this deck for anything else but talking to the Morgon. And then this is my letter notebook that I use when I write to her. That is a sigil that Salt, Katie, came up with and it's to help me communicate with her and get, like an accurate, reading or things like that with her. But I love working with her. I do, I think I said this in my Deity video, but she is a large reason of why I got through the end of my marriage as intact as I did. Her just like being the badass boss bitch, that she is, really helped me get through what was the ending of a really toxic, bad relationship. And also, Katie, all my friends, my brother, and my puppies. My puppies really helped me. Oh, they abandoned me. They went somewhere else to lay down. They probably don't want to hear me talk. But yeah, she is wonderful. The new moon is actually tomorrow. That is usually, I usually always write to her on a new moon. Just to get, perspective and things like that. I also have, one of her things is crows or ravens. And if you see them, that she's around. I actually have around my apartment, I have 4, sometimes 5 crows that just live around here. And almost every day, at least once a day, when I take my dogs out to go to the bathroom, they always say hi. They always caw at me. So I really like that. I always have this reminder of her. And then I did redo my altar that we're on right now. She is a big part of the altar. I have her candle that I use for hers on here, her statuary that I use for her. And then I also, let me get this. I also made a jar the other day for her, wrote a little note, and then I sealed it with a little candle. I did make a couple TikTok videos about it. Yeah, that's a jar for her. I made that the other day. That stays on my altar as well. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. Tell me about you. I would love to hear if you read tarot or not, how long you've been reading tarot, what's your favorite deck, what's your least favorite deck. Also, if there's any questions, that you all would want me to answer, you can leave them below. I will gather them all up and then probably make a video about answering your all's questions. Or if you want, I've actually been thinking about maybe doing a live, and just doing just a quick, not quick, but just a ramble live where you all can come on, ask me questions, we can talk, we can chat, we can just talk about things, because that's what I really, really like. Not every witch or spiritual person is called to, spread knowledge or help people with understandings of things. And I get that, I totally get it. Because in the same way that I'm not called to be a teacher of children, other people are. So, because I did see I can't remember what it was on, but it was basically someone had commented on another witchy account and basically said that if you're not going to give people, like resources or things to like learn from or like give the people that information, then you can't really call yourself a witch. And that is not true. Not everyone is a unlimited resource. I take that back. No one is an unlimited resource. A lot of us, myself included, are more than willing to answer questions or, give our opinion or spread, knowledge that we have acquired throughout, our time on, the pagan path. But no one's obligated to. So I would love to just like sit down, have a live, talk about things, because I am called to spread knowledge, especially about tarot and things like that. I love talking tarot. I love how people interpret the cards differently. I love the imagery on tarot cards. I just love everything about it. So I think I just talked myself into it. So we'll see about doing a live and things like that. But again, if you have any other questions for me, about me in general, I would love to answer them. So leave them below. Okay? Well, I really liked this little reintroduction video. I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you are in kind of inclement bad weather as I am, I hope you stay safe, number one. But number two, in everything you do, thank you so much for being here. Blessings and growth. And I will see you next time. I don't know why I did the finger.